Hi everyone, and welcome back to my class, How to Teach Your 3 to 7-year-old Maths Completely Screen-Free. This lesson is dedicated to the younger ones, like 3 years old and 4 years old, and perhaps some 5 years old as well. And it's about the importance of teaching other things before we teach kids numbers. So, no numbers, please, is the name of the class today. Did you know there is decades of research showing that young children do not need numbers to learn maths? So today I will try to show you how to teach meaningful, deep maths using real objects, curiosity, and of course, zero screens. So, no numbers yet. Children's early work with mathematics needs not involve numbers at all. Instead, learning experiences can focus on concept formation, process development, and oral language acquisition. Let's start with concepts, the ideas children must understand before we ever ask them to count. I would mention some: length, width, height, distance, perimeter, area, volume, capacity, weight, color, texture, shape, size, material, use, position, and lastly, speed, scale, and quantity. According to Piaget, children in the early years learn through physical experience, touching, moving, comparing, and their brains are literally wired to learn big ideas before symbols. So when we teach length or shape or capacity through play, we're actually giving the brain exactly what it needs. Then, let's talk about process development. These processes are the engine of early mathematics. So, think of observe, explore, communicate, match, compare, order, sort, classify, and pattern. This is how mathematicians think. Children who practice comparing, sorting, classifying develop something called cognitive flexibility, which is strongly linked to later success in maths and problem solving, and no worksheets are needed. And lastly, language acquisition. Maths is a language, and dozens of studies show that a child's maths vocabulary at age 4 can actually predict their maths achievement all the way into secondary school. Why? Because language gives shape to thinking. So we have to give kids lots of opportunities to talk by asking them, what do you notice? Which is longer? Is this heavier? What shape is this? And then their words become their tools. Now, let me show you some things that you can do with your kids and that fall into the category of comparing and the concept of length. Asking kids simple questions like, find some things that are longer than your arm. Make a Play-Doh snake that is longer than your little finger. What can you find that is longer than your pencil, but shorter than your thumb? Which is longer, the shelf on this side of the room or the shelf on the other side of the room? How can you check? These tasks activate spatial reasoning, and spatial reasoning is often a strong predictor of success in STEM fields. When you engage your kid in such activities, they learn rich mathematical language like longer, the same length, shorter, between, as long as. These are not cute little toddler words, they are early geometry. And when a child says something like, this one looks longer because it sticks out, like in these two shapes, for example, if I move this here and I ask the child, which one is longer? And when the child says that this one is longer because it sticks out, that's not a mistake, that's just a hypothesis. So you help them test it. So you move this shape, you make the endpoint equal, and then you ask them again, and then you make them realize that this is how we measure length. And then here I show you some things that you can collect, and you don't need expensive toys. Basically, whatever you find at home, and I'm sure every home has some buttons. You can find some rocks, some ribbons, some containers, seeds, any little toys that you have at home, macaroni, beans, lids, keys, other toys, beads. And I'm going to show you some activities that you can do with all these things. These are called manipulatives, which are physical tools that support brain development and strengthen neural pathways for mathematical thinking. Think of them as the gym equipment for child's brain. One of my favorite activities is compare with a balance. So you need a balance and you need a bag where you put different things on the bag. And then you ask your child with their eyes closed to draw two objects. And the child then hand balances these objects and guesses which object is heavier. The guess then is checked on the balance. So this is already a hypothesis. They say this is heavier, this is lighter, and then they can test it and they reach to a conclusion, which is kind of a scientific method in a 4-year-old. It's a great activity and they will learn lots of new language as well. Another activity you can do is compare capacities. So think of all the things that you have in that bag, and then you get some containers of different shapes and different volume capacities. And you ask your child to see which one holds more and which one holds less. So this builds volume intuition, helps enormously later with when they meet fractions, liquid measures, and problem solving. And of course, they learn new language again, holding more, holding less. And these simple phrases, everything that they learn, this type of language, will unlock huge future learning. So remember, the best learning in maths for age 3 to 4, maybe 7 is concept rich, hands-on, playful, language driven, and also scientific. You're not preparing your child to memorize formulas. You're preparing them to think like a mathematician. I hope you liked the video and feel free to share it with other parents who are interested in such activities. And as always, happy learning.